Top story this week is the fallout from the massive Madoff Ponzi scam continues to widen. The Palm Beach Post reported Palm City resident Neil Friedman lost the entire $4 million nest egg, while Delray Beach businessman Larry Leaf and his ex-wife were nailed for nearly $10 million in life savings. Also hit hard were the upscale Jewish enclaves in Boca Raton's St. Andrews residential community, along with the Woodfield Country Club, Boca Rio, Boca Point, and the Broken Sound developments. Well, Miami Dolphin owner Wayne Huizenga is slated to close on the sale of his remaining stake in the team to real estate tycoon Steve Ross, and Huizenga will pocket an estimated $500 million. He previously sold a 50% stake in the team to Ross earlier this year for $550 million. The sale includes the Dolphin Stadium plus surrounding acreage. Huizenga stands to make a whopping $800 million on the deal, as he bought the team and stadium for $135 million 14 years ago. Well, Gin Resorts, the developers of the upscale Testoro community in Port St. Lucie, has filed Chapter 7 on 2 Florida projects. Gin had been negotiating with Credit Suisse Bank for almost a year, trying to revamp a $675 million loan, and had been in default for the past 6 months. The loan covers Testoro, Gin's Grand Bahama Island project, a North Carolina development, and a Naples complex. The bankruptcies include Testoro and Naples project, while Gin sold off the other 2 projects. Well, coming up next, I talk with former mortgage broker Jim Flood, who owns South Florida's home mortgage company that's no longer in business, but Jim's now taken a new and powerful career path. And in an interview taped earlier, I asked him about his new adventure.
I spent a lot of time in corporate America always trying to serve the employee. As a regional president, I left Home Bank Mortgage and wanted to devote myself to something where I could give back. So what I did is I decided to get into the work-life balance field.
All right, that's terrific. What exactly is that?
That is, there's a big demand in America today for that. That is actually to create good retention, which is the key to any great company, is to not have people leave, which would be attrition. Is the focus is to try to help people get their whole life kind of in check by balancing that life and helping them with their home life, helping them with their financial life, and putting it all together so they become a better employee.
And you wrote a book.
I did.
Yeah, well, the cover's on the screen right now.
Yeah.
Okay, what's in the book? What did you cover in that?
Well, what I did in that is I laid out what are called the 8 components of life balance. And some of those components begin with an F. In fact, most of them do. Faith, family, fitness, financial, friends, fun, and focus. So in that book, I outline steps, planning for people to kind of get their life back on track. And not only that, take it to the next level.
You know, in South Florida, the economy is tough. We got a lot of layoffs. People are out there, they're frightened, they're concerned about their jobs, and some of them are on the streets. You've lived it, you've been through there.
Yeah.
What do you tell to the guy who's lost his job or the woman who's lost his job? How do we cope with this?
There's hope. There's great hope. Hopefully they'll have some kind of faith journey and spiritual direction, because number one, you need to have your faith. Once you get past that, reality sets in and say, okay, now I need to remake myself. So for me, I spent some time with a consulting firm that helped me realize what are the 3 gifts that I really have, and try to put those into another industry if I need to. So that's kind of where I came from, was banking into this life balance field, which moves my skills and gifts to the next place. So I would encourage them to stay cool. Hopefully they save for the rainy day, because the rainy day came.
Yeah, well, sometimes, what happens, some of them were living paycheck to paycheck, and now they're out of a job, and then what happens?
Well, I think what you have to do there is you have to get with a financial mentor. If they can't afford a financial planner, most people have a hard time. Get a financial mentor where you can actually sit down and make some really tough decisions about your budget. Get your budget in check. Make sure if you're married,
cut up the credit cards.
Cut up the credit cards. And just say, I'm going to live a more frugal life until I get through it. And even then, when I get through it, I'm going to get in a better position financially by paying off debts, because really the debt is really what's causing America today as a global area to struggle. So.
Well, you're a pro in the financial area here. right now with all the bailouts and all the really screw-ups on Wall Street, what's your take on the whole thing?
Well, we're definitely going through a catastrophic time in the economy, and I think eventually, like all times, including the Great Depression, I think we're going to see a rebound in the next couple of years, but that's a while out there. I still think we have a lot of construction to do in the banking origin of
Right.
how does that work and where do we go from here, but I ultimately believe America will prosper again, and I think we need to be prepared for the return of it, but I also think we need to be disciplined about what is happening and that it could get even a little worse than it is.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, you know, do you take your concept of the Fs and stuff like that, do you take this concept to other companies and have seminars or talk to them, employees about this?
Absolutely. I'm working right now with a lot of real estate companies, and the reason I point to the real estate firms right now is they are in deep need right now when the seller can't sell their house. So I'm going in there, I'm bringing motivation in, I'm bringing steps in for them to see how they can get their life kind of back on track and maybe plan better, because really it's the planning steps that really will lead us to the future with optimism.
All right.
So that's what I'm doing, and I'm hoping to do a lot more of it.
Well, good luck with your book.
Thanks.
And God bless you, Jim Flood.
Thanks so much.
All righty.
Thanks for having me.
All righty.
Okay, great.
And stay with us. We'll return right after these words.